Phil Smith's passion for working alongside local services at the very heart of the community is what Every Child Matters is all about.
Another community resource, which is the schools, which is our field. And we leave it open at all times when the school's not in session, so that the community can actually use it. Tomorrow we're having this area dug out to make a pond, and we're having 10 fruit trees planted in this area to make a sort of pond and orchard, and then in between the 3 shelters putting in patios with the sort of bar type tables on, so that the community can use it for picnics. And obviously with a pond and wood piles it will attract wildlife, so that the children can actually see habitats with real wildlife growing in them. But also part of the master plan to actually extend healthy living choices for our community as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities there. It seems quite a sort of community school, as in the people generally seem to sort of help each other out because of its size and because of the teaching. Mr. Smith's got a particularly modern approach to it. He's not one of these people that tells the lively ones to sit down and shut up, which is brilliant, especially with somebody who's quite lively.
Phil Smith's modern thinking doesn't just start and end with his work with the whole child. He is working on the whole family approach as well.
We're a very approachable school, and I was getting families coming in to me saying, I've got this problem, I've got this problem, I've got this problem, and I'm going, oh, I'm sure there's support for you out there, but I don't know where it is.
I was coming up for my 3rd year of university. A friend was going to be looking after Eric because my timetable was after school hours, and she unfortunately had a heart attack, which meant that she couldn't look after him, but it also meant that at very short notice we had to find somewhere. I went to Mr. Smith and just explained to him, just to ask him if there was anything he could do, and he put us straight onto Tarnaland, straight onto the after-school club, which, yeah, worked out really, really well.
And that's what's been so exciting for us in education, is that it's broadened our horizons, it's broadened our vocabulary, whole way of thinking, if you like, because now we can say, I'm not sure exactly where the support is, but I know somebody who does.
To be honest, I think I'd have ended up missing a lecture every Monday, and obviously if I'd missed a lecture every Monday, the chances are that your work starts to slide because you haven't got the input. So to be honest, it could have quite easily meant leaving the course or not finishing it or taking a year out or just getting a fail mark at the end of it. Then yeah, I think I'd have been really upset if I'd had to leave. I would have personally felt quite that I'd failed, which wouldn't have been good for Eric's confidence because mine would have been knocked. So yeah, I think it has made a difference. It's made me feel like I actually achieved what I came down there for.
So basically we're working at families that we've identified as being at medium risk, so that they don't go to high risk and go into a situation where child protection is actually an area that we have to look at. Eric's just having a little bit of time to himself, aren't you, little man?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Because it got all a bit too exciting in PE. Would you like to come up and see nursery and reception? We're going to have to give them a little bit. We work very closely with families to try and make sure that their children don't go down the child protection route, but that they get the services and the support that they need before that happens. We feel that successful children come from successful families who work and live and breathe in successful communities, and this has not been one. And so we're trying everything we possibly can to play our role and our part in making that a successful community and successful families with successful children.
I want to be a doctor when I grow up. Because already you've got 2 doctors in the family, so...
One of Phil's pupils is Imad. He benefited from a Sure Start place in the Tana Centre.
When my son was born, when he was about 2 years old, we heard about Sure Start. They came to our house and they introduced and they told us that how they helped families with them bilingual, you know. But when my other 2 younger ones started, they had a bilingual assistant with them. So whenever they need translating, they're there to help them.
Agostina has also been given a bilingual teacher.
The school, the first day that I come here, they said me that if I want that Agustina have a Spanish teacher, so she can help with their English language. The teacher speaks Spanish and English, so they try to teach my daughter English.
And this is my diary. I want to show what it does. If you squash this little blue thing there, it can squiggle around. And inside it's got like first little flowers somewhere. Now I better put my things back in before I lose them. Oh, where's my pen gone?
But Carlton Hill's close relationship with the Tana Centre also means that parents, like Agostina's mother Adriana, get help with their English. The Friendly Society run English classes for non-English speakers alongside other basic skills classes.
In Brazil, very good.
What we're hoping to do is we're hoping to encourage more Sure Start parents who... It's quite common with people with basic skills needs to recognise that need when their children start to go to school and they're asked to help their children with language and numeracy, and they recognise that their language and numeracy is not as good as they'd hope. So we were hoping that we would be able to draw in some of the Sure Start parents at that point when their children start at school. So let's say it's early days yet. We've only been working together for a few months.
For Adriana, these classes are also an opportunity to make new friends.
The first time I met them, went to this Sure Start Children Club, mother and toddler, and they told me about the English classes, and I went to the English classes, and a while later Blairta came around and I invited her to my place. And then a while later Adriana came around and we invited her, and since then we've been friends. Yes.
The opening of the Tana Centre has been a success. For David Hawker, it is one of the first tangible changes that are taking place in the city.
I'm absolutely thrilled. The design is so good, and it's got to be friendly, people friendly. It's got to feel good and feel quality. I think it's achieved that. It's really, I'm really thrilled with it.
Well, I think it's fantastic, and I think as you go around this children's centre and the Sure Start projects, and you see the impact on the neighbouring school of everybody working together, making sure the facilities are there, that health and education support each other, you can see the huge difference it can make to children's lives and indeed their parents' lives as well. And one of the most exciting things about projects such as this one is how parents can be drawn into learning alongside their children, and it can help them and it can help them help their children as well. So we've got a real chance, a once in a generation chance, to break that cycle of deprivation. So I think it's wonderful what's happening here, and I hope that it'll be replicated up and down the country.
But for many, the benefit of a children's centre is still in the future. Susan Strong knows only too well the impact on children's lives if they miss out on the early benefits that a one-stop shop children's centre can offer.
That is what I really get upset about, because we put so much input in. So they come to us, some not everybody, but they've fallen through the net, they need all this input. We give them the input of social skill development and language skills. They're still not up to par of what they should be, because you can only do so much in 4 years. They leave here, and once they get to secondary school, they are in serious trouble.
In the beginning, it was a huge amount more work. I actually feel it was probably taking up about 40% of my time. However, that 40% of time was well invested, because what we've seen now is the school SATs results go up hugely. to the point that we have had Key Stage 2 results that have risen by 53% in maths, that have risen by 30% in English, and that have risen by 17% in science to 95%. They're the highest that Carlton Hill has ever recorded, and I think a lot of that goes down to the work that we've done through extended services and through our work towards Every Child Matters. That has enabled us to work with children's families to motivate their learning further.
But the differences between Carlton Hill and Hangleton are set aside as the pupils take part in a football match between the two schools. Here at least they should be competing on a level playing field. This time Hangleton show what they're capable of.
Every Child Matters is probably the most fundamental change in public policy that we've seen for a generation. The whole of the policy has shifted around from it being driven by lots of policies to being driven by the needs of children and young people themselves. So it's kind of turned everything inside out. And it's based around the 5 outcomes of Every Child Matters: being healthy, staying safe, enjoying and achieving, making a positive contribution, achieving economic well-being.
I think the Every Child Matters 5 goals have been universally accepted as a very good starting point, and they really are the 5 things that all children need to flourish.
No, just fantastic commitment and attempts to win. I'm proud of them. Very proud of them.
Obviously, different children in different areas, the emphasis is going to be different as to what's seen to be their particular need. I think if you have those 5, a checklist of 5 things, you look at every child and say, you know, have they got all these things that they deserve, and that the state should be there to make sure that they do get. I think that's a very good framework.
And once we've got that rounded picture of our aspirations for children and young people, actually they came from the children and young people themselves. That's what they wanted for themselves. It's what parents want for them. It's what all of us working with them want for them. That's what Every Child Matters is all about.
I want to play for Liverpool, be the best one. Be a proper legend, be the all-time top brain surgeon.
I really want to be a doctor just because I've just really wanted to be one. It's because my family's actually really never had a doctor.
Yeah, go to Antarctica and study penguins. He loves penguins. He loves penguins.